Hey there guys, in today's video we're going to be having a look at batteries in series and parallel. Now batteries are used to power electronics all around the world. You might find them in your TV remotes, in your gaming remotes, and you might also find them inside of laptops and mobile devices. Now all of these things are connected in certain ways to actually power those devices and give the right required amount of voltage. So let's have a look at what series and what parallel is. Now, as we can see right here, I have the two batteries that you're going to be finding inside of your kit. Now do note that batteries convert chemical energy into electrical energy. Now there are various types of batteries that you'll find out there. All of them have different voltages and different capacities. Well, that all differs by type. So these are known as alkaline batteries, and they have a voltage of around 1.5 volts, which can be found on the battery right here. As we can see there, 1.5 volts. Now, adding two of these in series is going to give us a total of 3 volts, if you remember what we learned from our previous video, and adding them in parallel is actually going to be giving us still 1.5 volts, but with increased capacity. So let's have a look at our kit and how we're going to be doing these connections and how we can explore different methods of actually connecting these batteries and what the results are of those connections. So these are all the components you're going to require to actually do our first project together. We're going to have our two batteries, our light holder, our two battery holders, our little light, and a switch. So what we're going to be doing here is we're actually going to be exploring what series and parallel connections do to the actual light bulb. And we're going to be using these to do our connections. Now you'll find that there are two that has alligator clips on them. I wouldn't recommend using them as of just yet. We're going to be using them with our little ice cream sticks kit. As you'll notice with our batteries right here, we have a positive terminal and a negative terminal. This is usually marked on the batteries, but it can also be identified with the one side having a little bump and the other side being straight flat. Now the negative side is going to be your flat side and the positive side is going to be your side with the little bump. Now this is going to be very important as to how to insert this and how to do our wiring. To make it easier, everything has been color coded. So do identify red with a positive terminal and black with a negative terminal. So we're going to insert our battery in that way with the positive side facing to our positive terminal like this. And we're going to do that with both of these holders. Now, when we have our batteries right here, we can actually go ahead and measure their voltages with the multimeter to actually see what we get, measure it. So I have my multimeter right here, and we're going to go ahead and measure battery A. So as we can see there, 1.503 volts. And our other battery is going to measure in at around 1.495 volts. So let's have a look how we're going to be connecting these batteries in series. So when we connect them in series, we actually want to make sure they are end to end. So meaning we have a positive, followed by a negative, followed by a positive, followed by a negative. Now this is going to ensure that we make the correct series application. But with these little holders, it's quite easy, as you can just slide it in there. And there we go. We actually have a series connection made by just doing that. And now when we measure the voltage of our batteries, we're going to see that it comes around at around 2.999 volts, which we could say is 3 volts. Now, when we remove this again and we connect them in parallel, so that means positive to positive and negative to negative, we're going to take one of our red wires right here, and that's going to give us parallel connection. So I've connected those two, and I'm using the black wires to connect the black ends together to give ourselves a parallel connection. Now, although these batteries have been connected together, we're going to find that the voltage across these terminals is going to remain the same. It should be an average between your two batteries, which is going to be 1.501 volts. Now, let's go ahead and add in a switch with the light bulb to see what the different effects are that we're going to get with series and parallel connections. So first, let's connect them in series. So remember, positive to positive and negative. So negative followed by positive, followed by a negative, followed by another positive. This is going to ensure that these two are connected to each other, creating a new positive and negative terminal that we're going to be using. So from here, we're going to have a little light bulb holder like this. So you're going to take your light bulb and you're going to screw it into place and make sure that the bottom side of your light bulb actually makes contact with the little metal plate here. So now, as we know, we have our new positive and our new negative side. So what we want to go and do is we're going to take a red U-shaped wire like this, and we're going to connect our positive side of our battery to our positive side of our light bulb. We're not going to see it turn on quite yet, as we need to add the switch and add it to the other end. So I'm going to open up the switch right here, and from our negative part right here, we're going to have a connection between this point right here of the light bulb and the switch. You can see that I've connected a black wire to black from black to red. That's because a switch doesn't really have a polarity, so there's no positive or negative side to it. It actually just breaks the current flow, and therefore we can connect a component to any side that we'd like, and it's going to function in the same way. So from here, from our black side, we're going to have it connecting to the other point of our battery right here. So as we can see, we don't really have anything going on quite yet, as we have to close the switch to complete the circuit. And there we go. We have a light that's turning on. So what did we just do right here? We have our two batteries, as you can see here, positive and negative, connected end to end to each other. So this is going to allow us to have our 3-volt output. Then after that, we followed it by a switch. Now this little switch right here can be seen over here, and this is going to allow current to flow and current not to flow by opening and closing it. This is exactly what a switch does on the inside. So whenever you use a light switch or anything like that, this is the basic principle that you are making use of. And then of course we have our little lamp. So our lamp over here is connected in this way, and then we have it followed by our switch and followed by our two batteries, which are connected in series. So do notice this little lamp, it's quite bright, and we're going to see what the effects are if we connect these batteries in parallel. So as we can see here, I have a new wiring diagram, and we can see here that our positive ends are connected to each other, and that our negative ends are connected to each other. So that's what we're going to be changing. So it's still connected in series. So let's go ahead and turn our light switch off so we don't make any unwanted shorts. We're going to go ahead and remove these terminals from the batteries. Now, as I said in the beginning, to connect these in parallel, we're going to remove them from each other, and we're going to make use of these clips here on the side. You can see here, and we're going to be sliding them into each other like that. But it's not connected in parallel quite yet, because we still need to make the final connection, our black side and our red side, which is going to be our negative and our positive side. As you can see right here, we just recreated this little diagram over here, where our positive ends are connected to each other and our negative ends are connected to each other. Now you can go ahead and add a black wire to this side right here from our previous circuit we used. Pull that up, and then we can go ahead and add our red wire. As you can see here, nothing is happening quite yet, but we can go ahead and close the switch and see what's happening. So as we can see here, we have a much dimmer light bulb right here. That's because we are actually feeding it 1.5 volts instead of the conventional 3 volts that this requires. So you'll see here, we take a measurement across these two nodes, you're going to find that we have around 1.475 volts. That is why we are getting a dimmer light over here. So let's just recap on what we just did. As we can see here, once again, this is our series connection where we have our batteries connected end to end, as opposed to our parallel connection where our batteries are going to be connected positive together and negative together. So this is going to give us 1.5 volt, and the series connection is going to give us 3 volts. So when we do this connection right here, the parallel connection, we're going to see an increase in capacity, but the volts is going to remain the same. And once again, when we connect it in series, we're going to see that our voltage increases, but our capacity remains the same. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you did enjoy that project. I hope you were building alongside me so that we can all learn together. And next, we're going to be having a look at parallel and series connections with the light bulbs. Now, there's quite a big difference between the two, so let's go ahead and explore that topic next. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys on our next video.